Hello everybody, MegaZard here. I'm back at it again to give you another very exciting video, and this marks the 7th edition of my Gamer's Brief, where I sit down and talk to y'all about all the gaming related news that happened within the past week. We just got like a handful of stuff and topics to go over, such as we got the Final Fantasy 7 Remake demo that dropped this week. We had an update over Mario Kart Tour that actually finally added in multiplayer after, oh gosh, a really long time. The Switch also managed to have its birthday, and it marked 3 years that we had the Switch since March of 2017. Then we also got an update on Luigi Mansion 3 as some DLC dropped this week. And then also E3 could be at risk in terms of being able to have its regular showcase during the summertime due to the fact of the coronavirus. So there's quite a bit to talk over within all the gaming related news that happened within this past week though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight up into this. So on Monday, March the 2nd, the Final Fantasy 7 Remake demo finally dropped. Now, people already knew that this demo might have been sort of kind of coming because, you know, a while back, people and data miners have been able to figure out that yes, there was a demo that actually was uploaded to the PlayStation store, and you were able to, you know, they were able to sort of kind of data mine it, and then from that point forward, there was a little bit of spoilers kind of going out here and there because they were able to get their hands on it and pull up whatever information they were able to get and strip it from the game though. But now finally we managed to get that in our hands and be able to go over and play through it all. And from what I heard, it's basically the same type of demo that was showcased at E3 of 2019. So yeah, it's nice to be able to see people finally get hands-on with it though. And in terms of the game link, it basically starts you off at the very beginning of the game, and it takes you all the way to the Mako Reactor 1, right where, you know, you make that big explosion or whatever though. And that's pretty much where the demo ends though. So it gives you kind of a good chunk of playtime with the game and whatnot though. And then I just really like, from what I've been hearing about the terms of, you know, how more action oriented this game is going to be compared to the turn-based RPG. While I really did enjoy the original Final Fantasy 7 in terms of its RPG, the traditional RPG in terms of the turn-based and whatnot though, I really do like the matter of fact that they're basically stripping that, having the same sort of kind of story up in there though, but there are bits of twists in there, and I won't go into all the twists in case, you know, some people hadn't played the original game though, but there are some twists in this, especially at the end of the demo where you can sort of kind of get a feel of this though. So it does kind of add in like a new fresh breath of air in terms of what this game is going to be able to provide in comparison to the original one, because there's a lot more different scenes in this game based upon preview coverage and other things that show that, hey, you know what, this is going to be able to establish a whole lot more things that, and be able to flesh out a lot more characters and stuff than what we originally saw within the original game though. So yeah, really look forward to that though, but only got roughly about 1 more month to go until that's in everybody's hands though, but I'm hugely excited to potentially see what that game has all to offer. Also on that day, we did get confirmation that yes, the Mario Kart Tour has finally dropped its multiplayer modes, and I was like, thank goodness, because honestly this should have been in there from the original launch to kind of keep people more invested in it, and to keep people like me who sort of kind of dropped out of it along with a lot of other people though, to keep them sort of kind of invested though. But you know, better late than never, as the saying goes though. But they basically showcased off like a little diagram that basically showed how the multiplayer works, and it's sort of kind of split up into 3 categories. So essentially you have the playing with friends or others nearby, and if you play with this set of rules, you're able to, you know, stick the race on either like 50cc, 100cc, or 150cc. You can control in terms of item slots, like how many you can do. Like you can have the default or 1 or 2. And then you can also determine whether or not you're going to have computer racers in there as well though. However, this does not affect your grading or ranking or anything like that though. So that's probably the best mode in terms of this playing with friends or others nearby though. But it's not going to be like a reliable source of playing with multiplayer, because you might not always have somebody around though. But then if you move up to the next category, this is the traditional one, where if you're just by yourself or whatever though, and just want to play with people online, you're going to have these standard races, which there's only 2 sets of rules for this, and they switch out daily. You have 100cc with default item slots, and then it can switch to 100cc with 2 item slots. And then this one ranks you from E to A, and that's your traditional one. Now this is where it sort of kind of gets a little controversial though, is with these gold races, which, you know, for gold races you got to be subscribed to that gold pass. That's roughly about almost like $5 a month or whatever though. Which is pretty rough in itself though. But talking about the content within it though, it'll allow you to have these different types of rules, which will change daily. So 150cc with default items, 150cc with 2 item slots, 200cc default item slots, or 200cc with 1 item slot, which is, you know, that last one is almost like a default standard within like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though. So that's the only really unfortunate thing is, so to say, if you take the friends mode out, because let's say you don't have anybody nearby or with friends or whatever though, if you're just playing standard without the gold pass, you're locked within 100cc. And if you want to do 150cc, you have to have a gold pass, and then even then it allows you to switch between 150 to 200 depending on the time of day it is or whatever though. So yeah, that is unfortunate, and you can only play rank S with gold races, so that is a little bit unfortunate though. And I wish it was sort of kind of a little bit more standard though, but you got to kind of give incentive on why people should own the gold pass though. But it's still a little bit shady, it's a little bit unfortunate though, but overall the best option is the friends option, which ain't gonna be like the reliable source though. But that's pretty much it with the Mario Kart Tour update though. Now on Tuesday, March the 3rd, the Switch officially turned 3 years old. And you know, with the Switch turning 3 years old, that also meant that Breath of the Wild also turned 3 years old, because that was the original launch game for the system now. And I gotta say, you know what, it's kind of crazy to think that the Switch is already 3 years old. I can actually remember myself going to my local Target and picking up that console on day one, and overall I've been having a really good fun blast with the system. And overall, man, just looking at the games that I actually have on my Switch right now though, I had man, in terms of like the top 6 in terms of my playtime hours, I had Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Breath of the Wild, then Fire Emblem Three Houses, then Smash, and then Splatoon at the very top. I know Splatoon I put like up to like maybe 850-ish hours. Smash was at 300, I think. Fire Emblem Three Houses was like roughly at like 150-ish, and then Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, and Splatoon 2 were roughly all about 100-ish hours each. So honestly, I had a really fun blast, and that's just like a piece of the pie right there though, and that doesn't go into all the other games that I have with me that either I own or I'm game sharing with other friends though. But honestly, the system's been really fun though, and this would technically mark the middle of the Switch's life, because typically most consoles kind of stretch to 6 years or something. Normally though, I might see the Switch maybe getting to 7 or 8 though, but then after that they got to start looking at some other kind of way to kind of update whatever console they're currently out on with releasing new hardware or whatever though. But yeah, to think that we reached this halfway point already though, man, it just goes to show that time really does fly by though. So just want to say happy birthday to the Switch, as well as Breath of the Wild, which is an amazing Legend of Zelda game. Now, also on that day, we got confirmation that Luigi's Mansion 3 DLC Wave 1 has finally dropped. Now, we knew that, you know, within this DLC, it's basically split into like a part 1 and a part 2. All of this costs $10, but it's released in like a part 1 wave and a part 2 wave though. But the part 1 includes 3 new mini games for multiplayer screen part mode, 6 new themed ghosts, 3 new outfits for Luigi, consisting like a night one, a mummy one, and like a groovy Luigi or whatever though. And then we got 3 new floor things in co-op scare scraper mode. Now honestly, you know, the DLC kind of looks pretty cool, and if you're really like a hardcore dedicated Luigi's Mansion fan, then yes, you're probably just gonna instantly buy this without any hesitation though. But at least for me, and probably along with a lot of other people though, this sort of, if you're not so much the kind of person that buys DLC purely for the cosmetic value of it though, for all of us mostly, we would say, you know what, if we put that stuff aside, the only thing that's really here is those new modes for screen part, which for screen part, unfortunately, it's like, you know, you gotta play that with friends. There's no other option. Like, I hadn't even been able to play the baseline screen part stuff because I'm the main one in my family that mainly likes to play the Switch, so I really hadn't had the opportunity to play it with anybody else though. And then you could also say, well, what about the co-op scare scraper mode? Well, it's co-op, so unless you got someone else to play with, then it's sort of kind of hard to play that within that as well though. But I wish that either within the next DLC wave or something, or do a free update for something though, allow us to be able to do the screen part mode within the online, because I know me and my friends would like to play, you know, those kind of games online. Same thing like the scare scraper, but unfortunately with it only being local play, it's kind of a rarity for us to ever play that, though. That is a little bit unfortunate, though. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of all the part 1 details, though. But part 2 of this DLC will arrive by summer of 2020 with additional content and features for both the screen part and the Scare Scraper mode. So honestly, we got to keep our eye out on that. So basically, roughly, that might be happening roughly around our E3-ish time zone or whatever, though. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the Luigi's Mansion 3 DLC update. On Wednesday, March the 4th, we had a quick update from the gaming industry where it kind of confirmed that, you know what, the E3 for this year could possibly be delayed or even canceled due to some health risks with the whole coronavirus going on and about. Because we had an update, because they said that with Los Angeles having declared a state of emergency, ESA's E3 team is actively addressing the coronavirus situation. Now, this will be a little bit unfortunate, though, but looking back at some of the past sort of kind of gaming related events, looking back with PAX East, Sony kind of pulled out of that, as well as GDC, that got delayed and pushed back all the way into the to the summertime or whatever, though. So yeah, the coronavirus already started kind of having an effect within the gaming industry, as well as I mentioned a couple of other times on my channel with the production of the Switch starting to get slowly kind of if this sort of kind of keeps up once April kind of hits, and we might start to see some decline in Switch sales because they're just the risk of them trying to create the product and whatnot and being able to ship it out or whatever, though. But yeah, it's affecting the gaming space on a lot of different levels now, and it would be really unfortunate if something were to happen and E3 were to be canceled or be delayed or let alone cancel. Because if you think about it, if for some way, let's just think worst case scenario, E3 happens to get canceled or whatever, though, this is gonna have to cause a whole bunch of companies, from the Nintendo, Sony was already doing their own thing, Microsoft, Bethesda, Square Enix, etc., EA, whatever. It's gonna have to cause all of them to be able to figure out how in the world they're gonna get out their information to people. Most likely that's going to basically incentivize people to all do their sort of kind of like an equivalent Nintendo Direct or whatever, though, where they're just going to drop the thing out on YouTube, Twitch, whatever, online. Is going to allow people to be able to watch it that way. Then it might make them scratch their heads like, you know what? We saved ourselves like millions of dollars instead of going to the E3 show. You know what? Why don't we just make this a normal thing and let's not even go or whatever, though? And I feel like this might be pretty negative for the people that sort of kind of host E3 or whatever, though, because they really rely on this as like a good amount of money that comes into their company or whatever, though. But as a matter of fact, that this could actually sit into other companies' heads, then hey, this might spark the decline for E3 going forward, because it's been on sort of kind of a slow decline, though. But this might be the spark to the flame that causes it to completely snowball, and then who knows, a few years from now we might not even be talking about E3 anymore, though, but it's more going to be like a summer showcase where everybody or all these gaming companies just drop out their sort of kind of whatever they want to call like directs or whatever during this prime time summer slot of being June or whatever, though. But that is a little interesting, though. I do hope that E3 is still going to be on, though, but it's just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind when we're dealing with the whole entire coronavirus and all the different effects it's having on people's health. And that about does it in terms of all of the gaming related news that happened within the past week, though. So you gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about the Final Fantasy 7 remake demo? Did you actually manage to have a PS4 so you're able to go hands-on with that, though? What all did you think about the Mario Kart Tour multiplayer coming out? Are you excited about it? You're still actively playing it, or are you like me or like a lot of other people, it might be just a day late and $1 short, and it might not just be enough to pull people back up in? As well as, what did you think about the Switch being 3 years old today? Just drop down in the comment section down below. What are some of your most favorite games that you played throughout these few years, though? And then along with Luigi Mansion 3 DLC, did you manage to pick up the DLC right now and enjoying it, or are you holding out just to kind of make sure to see what did they have on the table in terms of what will come within the Wave 2? And then what are your last lingering thoughts over E3 of what would be this year, if for some reason they still manage to have it, or whether or not they delay it, or whether or not it just gets fully canceled? Just let me know what you think about that down in the comment section down below, though. And that's pretty much it in terms of the news updates, though. However, with it being Friday and there is a new game on the horizon today, so I want to go ahead and take the time out to talk about that real quick, though. But today, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX actually launch on the Nintendo Switch. So if you want to, you can run out to your store right now. You can also go ahead and pick up the game on the Nintendo eShop. You can get it whatever way you want, physically or digitally though, but you can get it right now. It's out. And honestly, in terms of Mystery Dungeon, I really like the series in terms of, you know, me playing it back within the Time Explorers and Darkness area, where, you know, those games originally came out on the DS. Those were some of my favorites though. And then outside of that, I hadn't really dabbled with Mystery Dungeon until I played that demo. And if you're curious about this game, there is a demo live on the eShop right now. You can try it out. All of your progression that you make within the demo does carry over to the main game though. So there is that to keep in mind as well though. But honestly, you know what? If you're a hardcore fan of the Mystery Dungeon games, you're really going to enjoy this game. But if not, do note that it does get a little repetitive. So you really gotta like that aspect of running around, exploring, finding stairs, running around, exploring, finding stairs over and over and over and over when you're in the dungeon aspect, so to say though. And then there's some small little activities that you can do outside of dungeons as well though. But honestly, if you're really looking forward to Mystery Dungeon, let me know down in the comment section down below. Did you pick up the game already, or are you hugely excited about it though? But that's pretty much it in terms of all the gaming related news that happened within this week though. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, this is Megazard X signing out for this week's Gamers Brief.